What's up, everybody? I figured leading up to the new NLS book player that's coming out, the DA2, you've heard me and Chase talk about it on the podcast a little bit if you've been watching them. I thought, well, in the lead up to that, why don't I show off my old
player on
talking book player? Okay. It wants to turn on its own. So these things came out in 2009. And they are for blind people. They're for people dyslexic. So anybody that's dyslexic can just read audiobooks off of this thing. It's an audiobook player mainly for the blind. You know, it's got Braille on it, on the buttons, or beside the buttons. For those of you sighted people that are watching this, this is what it looks like. Take a good hard look at it. On the bottom half of the unit, on your left, is a red button. It is a power button, so I'm going to press that now.
Player on. Press any button to learn about its function.
Okay, so as it said, you can press any button to learn the function of it. So I'm just going to press one button right quick.
Rewind. Press this rewind button once to move backward 5 seconds in the book. Press and hold this rewind button to move back further in the book. The longer you hold the button down, the more quickly you will move backward.
And the fast forward button, basically, you get the gist.
From the bookshelf, rewind.
Okay, we'll get into the bookshelf later. On the bottom, rewind, play stop, fast forward. Power, sleep, volume up and down.
Volume down, volume up.
Information, previous, next. This is like if you're going between chapters or say phrases or recipes or whatever you're going by. So you'll hit the previous button to go to the previous element. Next to go to the next one. So in between those are the information button, the menu button, and the bookmark button. And then on the top half of the unit, you've got your speed up, speed down, tone up, tone down buttons. So, as I said before, this thing came back in 2009, and for a lot of blind people, a lot of people in the blind community, this was their life. Like, I used to take this thing around all the time, playing books on it. As a matter of fact, that's going into what I want to show you next. Most of you guys are asking, well, Skyler, how do you play books on this thing? Well, through book cartridges. They come in cases like this. And you basically pull the taps like that and open the case. And your cartridges are going to look like this. And I'm going to show you where you put the book cartridge into the player. So it's going to be through the front. Just like this. Slides right in. Push it firmly.
8 books.
Meet the Austins by Madeline L'Engle, DB 65309.
Okay, so as you heard this book player say, this cartridge is a multi-book cartridge, so it's got 8 books. Let's say I wanted to figure out what the rest of the books are on this cartridge. You might have heard the book player talk about it when I pressed the play stop button earlier, but you're going to press and hold the play stop button.
Bookshelf, 8 books. Book 1.
Meet the Austins.
2.
Your old pal, Al.
3.
Chronicles of Avonlea.
For those of you who don't know, I'm using the next item button. So it's on the top half of the unit. There's a line separating the rewind, play stop, fast forward, volume up and down, and the sleep button. Okay, so I've reached the end of that list. So you heard a double beep. So anytime you hear a double beep, it means that you're either at the end of something, of navigating something. You've either that or you have reached the maximum or minimum levels for either volume, speed, or tone. If I hit play on this last book, Tanglewood Tales.
Tanglewood Tales by Nathaniel Hawthorne.
I'm going to actually show you some of these buttons in action. I'm going to go to the end of the book.
Phrase, jump, bookmark, end of book.
So I just used the bookmark.
Back matter, jump.
Okay, so this is a good example to use the menu button. So I didn't really talk about the menu button much, but in a book, let's say books can have multiple levels. So this one just has chapter, phrase, bookmark. But you can have sections, subsections, recipes. You can have all kinds of stuff, and you can navigate by using this button. So let's say I wanted to put this on sleep. So let's say I was laying down and I wanted this thing to turn off in 15 minutes. I could get it to do that by pressing this button right here.
Sleep 15 minutes.
Okay, so you can go up to 15, 30, 45, and an hour. You can also use this sleep button if you have a remote for people who can't use the player's button controls. Say somebody that's one-handed, you can hook a remote into the USB flash drive slot, which is right here. It's on the right side above the headphone jack, for those of you who are blind. And you can hook a remote up to it for physically disabled people so they can use the book player with that remote. And you can press and hold the sleep button to access that learning mode. Let's show you the speed and tone buttons in action.
The tree on which the prize hangs, and that whoever approaches him runs the risk of being devoured at a mouthful.
This is tone.
True, said the king, with a smile that did not look particularly good-natured. Very true, young man. But there are other things as hard, or perhaps a little harder, to be done before you can even have the privilege of being devoured by the dragon. For example, you must first tame my 2 brazen-footed and brazen-lunged bulls, which Vulcan, the wonderful blacksmith, made for me. There is a furnace in each of their stomachs, and they breathe such hot fire out of their mouths and nostrils that nobody has hitherto gone nigh them without being instantly burned.
Okay, so when you press the information button, here's what happens.
Information. Current position.
The Golden Fleece.
Time elapsed. 6 hours, 8 minutes. Time remaining. 29 minutes. Total time. 6 hours, 37 minutes. 8 books. Book. 8. Title.
Tanglewood Tales.
Battery charge remaining. 3 hours. Battery powered. Press and hold the info button to play the user guide.
Okay, and that goes into another thing. Let's say I wanted to hear the built-in user guide. When you turn the player on, you can basically learn the buttons there, but if you want a more detailed guide to the player, you'll want to listen to this user guide for sure. Let's say I wanted to save my place in this book. Let's say I needed to bookmark this so I can come back to it. Your player will always remember where you are in a book, but sometimes it's good to have the bookmark there, especially if you want to get back to it from a different place in the book. Like if you want to get to that exact part, this bookmark button is going to come in handy. Okay, so let's say I wanted to go back to that bookmark. You can turn the player off and then turn it back on, and you're still at that same place. Let's do that.
Phrase. Jump. Bookmark. Jump.
So let's go to bookmark.
6 hours, 8 minutes, 35 seconds.
What do you think of this, my brave Jason?
So it took me back to that exact part I bookmarked. Ain't that cool? Well, I think that concludes this presentation of the NLS book player. I hope you've enjoyed it. Without further ado, this is Skyler Jarvis signing off.